immediately met in the backfield, runs through the contact, and then throws a shoulder for good measure. Revenge on this defense here. That is true. High in the air. Right center field. Brandon Compton. Welcome to 2025. The other way. Still going back. That's the drag. Walks up and down. Edwards pulls off and buries it. Richardson drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money.
Takes a shot for Darby. Flag out. Doesn't matter. Touchdown.
What is up, my Pitchfork Lunch peeps? Happy Friday. Welcome into this edition of Pitchfork Lunch. I am Michael Caratanito at Diablo00 on X. Ours fully known as Twitter. You know that. You can check out the show live there every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. Also, the IG at michael.caratanito.5. Yes, as you guys all know. And YouTube. Real quick before we get started, because we have an awesome guest. And again, a little bumpy starting. But, hey, you know what? When you got to adjust, this man knows everything about that. I got to make adjustments, but go to YouTube. You see my name, Michael Caratanito. It's at Evans and Michael V's and Victory Season Champ 005 at MVC005 on YouTube. Guys, watch live, but subscribe, because for those of you not here right now, which a few of you are, so it works up to that. Quite a few of you are, I should say. We're going to be talking to Sun Devil defensive coordinator Brian Ward, the man in charge of designing defenses that putting guys in spots that can make plays like Martell Hughes did right there. But again, go to YouTube, watch live, and subscribe. But the man who cut his teeth in the Valley is a Phoenix College Bear and a Glendale Gaucho, and he knows I love both of that. Sun Devil defensive coordinator Brian Ward. Coach, sorry for the little speed bump, but I always appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time.
That's okay. I was surprised it was you this time. It wasn't me. I'm the guy that struggles with technology. So, but we got it right. We're ready to roll.
Yes, we did. Well, it was funny because it was my camera. The green light was on, but I wasn't popping up, and you popped up, and I tried to put you in, see if you could hear me, and whatever. I figure I explain it to the viewers, but yeah. So I mean, that play was from right there earlier in the season against TCU, a wonderful interception by a young linebacker who, talking to Coach Cooper, has taken steps in Martell Hughes. But I mean, Coach, looking back at this season, obviously, man, it was exciting, and I'm sure it gave you, as coaches always say, maybe a few more gray hairs because of all the challenges. But man, just what a fun defense to be around, right?
Yeah, just had a great group. We had to overcome a lot of adversity. Definitely more injuries than we had last year, but we still, were able to put a good product on the field, and we played, fairly consistently throughout the year, and improved in a lot of areas, and just happy with the guys' effort and preparation this year.
Now, speaking of effort and preparation, I know yesterday he posted out, he put out a note all over social media. Xavier Alford, unfortunately, banged up this year, and I know early trying to play through it, but going to the NFL draft. And I mean, I know I always would kid with him and kid with you too a little bit throughout the last, because of his story. He's like that extra coach out there, man, always coaching guys up. But what two things? What has he meant to this team and to this team in general, defense in general? And I mean, the fact that he's had to do a lot of just, coaching up other guys. What's an NFL team going to get in this guy?
Well, they're going to get a guy that loves football. He brings it every day. He loves the X's and O's about it. He was a guy that literally could have played in 6 of the probably 7 spots in our secondary and our back 7 this year. Just incredibly high football IQ, very prepared, selfless in his approach in terms of trying to get other guys right. Really good for younger players too in terms of his maturity, and just set a good example every day with his process and the way he went about his daily preparation. So it was something that we really missed this year. We missed it from just a defensive standpoint, just his attention to detail and just how much better he made the people around him. He really did do his 111th every day, and he showed it and how he approached each day. So he has a great future ahead of him, and he's going to get his body right. And when he does, whatever NFL team gets him is going to get a great player and a great person.
And his story too, because I've talked about it on here before. I had actually another one of your fun secondary guys who has a decision to make too, Keith Abney, on, and just talking about X's story and saying unfortunately when the waiver doesn't go through. But he was out there, practicing, working with the DBs, and also, scout team. Because I know him and, Jake Smith at the time went through it too together. In your eyes, going through a situation like that, because people said there's 1 of 2 roads. You can roll with it, keep your head up, keep your head involved, or kind of half-ass be involved, put your head down in the sand and feel sorry for yourself. But for him, obviously, he took the high road. But when you look at going through a situation like that with the waiver, and then having to deal with injury, how much does that help a player just grow in in the challenges that they're going to face in the game in general anyway? But how much do you feel that let X grow?
Whenever there is challenges, there's growth, and I know that's the hard, it's the hard way of looking at it. But we tell our guys all the time, just with football in general, football is just a different sport. It's a sport that you prepare all year for, 12 opportunities that you're guaranteed. And because of injuries and because of opportunity, you're not really even guaranteed that. So it's not like other sports where you can go out and pick up a basketball and go play a pickup game at a park or at a LA Fitness or at a recreation area. You can go. When you're older, you can join softball leagues and baseball leagues even after you're done playing. Football is just such a unique sport, and it comes with it a lot of commitment, a lot of time, a lot of energy, and nothing is guaranteed when it comes to the game of football. And every game may be your last, every rep may be your last. So I just always believe that, and I know this from my life, and being, married for 30 years and raising 3 kids, and one's out of college, one's on her way out of college, and one's going into college. Just when you come up with adversity, it's really how you respond and what you learn from that adversity. And that's what I try to remember. That's what I try to remind our guys, that they don't forget, like every step, setback's an opportunity, and it's going to create an even better comeback. And those are Xavier showed that every day, and he's one of those guys. He's just kind of a face forward guy. He doesn't like to look behind him and what the things that maybe have caused him to take setbacks and caused him to have to take a step back at times. And he's been through it, and he's been able to respond every time. So I'm just excited what his future is going to hold, and not only in football but in just in the game of life. I mean, he's gonna be fully prepared to be successul when that time comes.
Speaking of guys that are around too, and like you said, battling through, and injuries can be tough, and with COVID, a lot of guys were, it's kind of the tail end of that. I know I talked to you about that a little bit ago, but you see some guys, wow, this is his 6th year of college football, or this is his 7th year of college football because of the crazy eligibility. But man, somebody on your defense that had the first interception of the season, Mr. Anthony Cooper. Seeing him get to, out there, and I know, even from Camp T, they were, calling him Unk and stuff like that, and, teasing him. But man, just to see him obviously get to finish out his career like this and finish a season. What have your interactions been like with him, and just how much fun has he been to work with, and what kind of inspiration you feel he brings to the defense?
He's a guy that the defense, they kind of look up to, and they know, like, he's really a testament. Again, we have a lot of guys that have been through a lot of things, and they've been through adversity, and his knee injury from a year ago in the spring, and he was having a great spring ball a year ago, and having to sit and watch us go through the Big 12, title run, but he never missed meetings. He was always here. And just seeing a guy like that, anytime you have like guys like that, it's a reminder, of what really sticking things out can do, and what it can do in terms of just your maturity and your development as a person. And he's a testament to that. And it's been gratifying just watching him have the year he's had, and how important he's been, to our front four and to our defense and our football team. I'm just so happy for him. And he just had another interception the other day at practice. He had a tip yesterday. So he's a sneaky good athlete too, and he's the guy that can play all four positions up front. So I'm just really happy for the season that he's had, and I can't put a like a degree of how important he's been to us and just our development as a program over these last 3 years.
Yeah, I know. And I've heard coaches say for years, like you just said. I mean, obviously your setbacks and how you can come back from it. If you fall down, 25 times, 26 times, can you get up to 27th and keep pushing forward? And like I said, I mean, his story, and quite a few guys have that story. So yeah, the interception the other day in practice is awesome to see. I know I mentioned Keith before, and I mean, you spoke in. Obviously, you guys have spoken in light about him. I know Coach Dillingham always likes to remind us that he's in the Barrett Honors College, as there's quite a few of those guys on the team, which is great to see. But man, I mean, he has a decision to make too, and just like you said, it's always great to be around him in the building. What are some of the examples you can give about that? Because, like I said, on the field, what he means to the other guys. I mean, how he just, played this year and grew and just accepted, every challenge and had no problem. Obviously, he said, giving you credit for putting him in the right spot to get those interceptions. But I mean, what is it about him that just makes him that guy in the building?
He's just a guy that when you tell him to do something, he just doesn't. And when you tell him to coach, when you coach him up on something or situation, he just doesn't. He's able to execute, and he's really the same guy every day. And it's I heard a quote the other day, like, it doesn't take much to be better than average except being consistent. And he really is. I mean, he's a guy that you really don't even know he's there until he makes a play, or he pats you on the back or says, "What's up, coach?" I mean, he's just a guy that just moves in his own space. And he's a guy that's just so consistent in his approach to life, that you can see it's just a byproduct of the consistent play that he's given us, over these last 3 years, and playing as a true freshman 3 years ago. So, it's just excited to see his development, and see just how far he's come just as a football player in 3 short years, and just really excited to see just his future too. And whether he goes or whether he stays, he's going to have a lot of opportunity, and and a lot of opportunity to play this game for a long time.
All right. Yeah, I know. I just, like I said, it's always a treat to talk to him and see him around. And I know I asked you this too before, but I mean, like you said, I mean, you have a son and a daughter, working with the football team, and like everything you go through. I mean, just like you said, to have like family there, how much fun is that? How much fun has this season been with both of them there?
Yeah, these 3 years have been amazing. Travis, my son, who's working with the offensive line, and Coach Tuatelli, he enjoys every day. And I literally, I mean, sometimes I get comfortable just seeing him every day, not realizing just how blessed I really am, having my 23-year-old son and being able to work with him day in, day out. And if he didn't do what he was supposed to do, and being a good member of the staff, and fulfilling his role to the highest degree, it put a lot of pressure on me as his dad. but he doesn't, and that's the thing. He's another guy that he just he's exuded those qualities of hard work and discipline, and you don't know he's there until he does something right. But and obviously with guys that are those lower level positions, when they do something wrong, they're it's seen. So he's a guy. You just don't know he's here because takes the same approach each and every day. And seeing my daughter, and she's in the nursing program here, and she just finished her first her first semester of her junior year, and she's getting closer and closer to graduating. So I'm just, and she's actually headed to Rome tomorrow, just a part of the Newman Center here on campus, and she's going to be the social media representative. She's going to be posting from Rome for the next 10 days, and which is just so exciting because she's become an influencer for the Catholic Newman Center here on campus, and it's so we've really embedded ourselves here in the Arizona State community, and it's just been such a blessing. I got to pinch myself and be thankful every day for this, because I know it's not going to last forever.
Man, that is awesome. And I know you're obviously excited to get ready for a bowl game. I just got to say it's awesome. She's with the Newman Center. I know. I mean, when I was here they did great things over there. But I mean, the dates of a little suspect. Dad's got to prepare. Dad should get to enjoy the fruits of that trip too.
Yeah, I know. I am jealous, not just a little jealous either. I mean, I've never been over there, and she gets to go to Rome, and she's doing a lot of things because of her experience here at Arizona State that I've never even had a chance to do, and all the things that I've been able to experience in my life and all the travel. So I'm definitely jealous, but I'm so grateful and thankful that she's able to do this. At the just because of her involvement here on campus and with our community.
Well, it might not be Rome, and no disrespect to El Paso, but you're going to El Paso. And the other day in practice, I got a few comments when I played the sound like, "Hey, coach hasn't been to El Paso." And it's funny because when Chris said not even for recruiting, it's a big country. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of spots, but so headed to El Paso for the first time, going to the Sun Bowl, which I mean, obviously, a long-standing Sun Bowl, getting to play ACC champs Duke. Your early look at Duke's offense. What have you thought?
Just really efficient, very effective. They do what they do, and they have very good personnel. They got a good offensive line. They got very good quality receivers that play their role. They have good change up and guys that complement each other's ability. But really, their offense really kind of it's all led by their quarterback, and just how effective and efficient that he's been this year, and he's getting more and more comfortable with that offense. And you can see that when he's rolling, their offense is rolling. So it's going to be a big challenge for us, come December 31st.
Well, speaking of offenses rolling, as a defensive coordinator, I know you always hear, especially when you're playing against different teams. Oh man, the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator is not getting any sleep because I got to prep for this player. But getting to practice against, I mean, asking this for a little bit, obviously for the last few seasons, but getting to practice against somebody, your secondary, obviously getting to practice against somebody like Jordan Tyson, who, I mean, again, just battled through everything, and I know wanted to be out there. And Coach Dillingham's like, if you're 100%, you're out there. You got to obviously look out for the players as you guys do. But going against Jordan Tyson, just again, not giving away his secrets, or yours, but just what's that been like to watch him battle with your secondary and the accomplishments that he's made?
Well, just the growth that he's had just as a player, and just his maturity and all those things. It's been reflective of what he's done off the field, and it's really applied on the field. And he's the type of guy that just got better and better every day. And he knew what his strengths were, but he is a guy that worked on what he perceived to be his weakness every day. And you just saw that continued development, and it only made our guys better. But when you saw what he would do sometimes to our guys in practice, and we were good and a confident group, and he'd make some of the catches and do some of the things he did, you knew that you're really around a guy that was special. And he's not a finished product either. And he's a guy that I just think his best football is in front of him, but getting a chance to go up against him every day. And anytime you go up against great players, and there is a difference between good and great players. And I think sometimes coaches and players kind of look through rose-colored glasses, and they try to see something that's really not there. And when people say don't use great a whole lot, yeah, you can't, because there's very few and far between great players. And there's a lot of good players and a lot more above average players. And there's only a select few that are great. And Jordan was one of those guys. He's a great player. And yeah, I just, really excited about his future and what he's going to do at the next level.
And you mentioned obviously character and players and personality. Now, look, I know there's personality all throughout the team, but your side of the ball, the defensive line, is there any room that's got bigger personality than that D line room that a lot of them you've had the last few seasons? Some obviously just their first season, but I got to think that they're a focus group. But sometimes is it even hard for you to keep a straight face when they're doing some funny things to each other?
No, you can't keep a straight face around that group. And sometimes as a coach, you go, man, come on, guys, you got to lock in. But then sometimes you just got to, and especially when you're around guys that you trust, and you just learn, like guys like Prince Dorba and Clayton Smith and Justin Watley and Jacob Kungaika and CJ Fight, and you see all these guys and Elijah O'Neal, and you could just, sometimes you just got to let those guys be themselves, because the one thing about that group is when the whistle blows and the game starts, those guys are ready to play. And credit to our defensive line coaches and Coach Reynolds. They just did a great job of preparing those guys. And when it was time to go, it was time to go. And those guys showed it this year.
Yeah, no, they absolutely did. And it's funny when they, and even coaching each other up. I'll walk by at practice and I'll just kind of hear something, and they're like, "You call that?" Like just giving somebody a hard time. But yeah, and Prince can go on heaters. I know, because he was on a comedy heater the other day too. So I could see the challenge in that.
Yeah, they're fun guys to be around, and my only regret is that I'm going to miss those guys. I mean, we're all going to miss those guys, after December 31st, and but they're always going to know that ASU is home, and those guys are always going to be welcomed back with open arms.
Absolutely. And I wanted to, because I know I asked you last year, obviously, when you're first recruit, you come in and obviously it's the staff you guys are recruiting. And a lot of these guys, like Coach said, I mean, they signed when, coming off a 3-9 year. And can you see the vision that you guys have as coaches? And you said a huge thing to me, one of the first times I had you on, is like, they need to understand your why and like why you're doing this, but that you're invested. But how much, I say that because how much has the recruiting trail just changed? Maybe have you seen it like shift, like when you show up again, not that obviously players are going to be excited to see a coach recruiting them, but just, with what's happened here at ASU and just the energy, how much has the recruiting trail changed?
That's a great question. I can't really gauge that. I know that the people maybe surrounding it, I think here's the thing, the kids that have all been to Phoenix and that they've been, to the Phoenix, Scottsdale, Tempe area, when they've been here, they're really excited to see us because they know what Arizona State is and what the quality of quality of life and being a student athlete is here. Um, I can't really gauge that. You know what I'm saying? Because usually we lay the groundwork, and when we do hit the road, we already know these guys, and we know, we have a rapport with them most of the time anyway. So, it's I just know this, that from going from 3-9 and coming from sanctions and overcoming some of the things that we've had to overcome here. I know that we're definitely recruiting. We're recruiting more of a wide swath of players and going after the most quality guys in the country, and that's where it's changed, because we know what this place is and what it can be and what we're striving for this place to become. So and we're not going to take a backseat to anybody,
which is awesome. And of course, like you said, in my maroon and gold colored eyes, ASU never took a backseat to anybody. But when you look at it, yeah, and you bring up something obviously great there. The one thing I will say I have noticed is too, because obviously having gone to school here, being an alum, covering, JUCOs and sports for years and covering ASU, like I will say, since, and Coach Dillingham, and again, just in general with the electricness, I mean, the volleyball team just had a phenomenal season. I know yesterday was had to watch that match. That was a little tough. They went out to Creighton in the Sweet 16, but just the electricity around not just campus, but Coach, I could be working on something and somebody sees ASU things, and I always hear, "Oh, go Devils, go Devils!" Like I always used to say it because that was just me, as you know. I know that doesn't surprise you, but the amount of ASU stuff I've seen, and Coach saying activate the Valley, and just the energy and the excitement. Like I got to think you for like even when you go out, you got to appreciate, you got to notice that obviously a little bit more. And I know during the season, and obviously you're focused, but you got to. I mean, it seems like the Valley is pretty activated.
Yeah, I mean, and I will tell you, it's funny you're saying this. I'm just thinking as you're talking, maybe it's because of my perception of this place and what it's always been. I've been in a lot of other places, and I've been, at other Power Five schools, in different regions, and I've always thought that this, just because of my affinity for the Phoenix area and my connections to the program and loose connections to the program throughout just my childhood, early adulthood, and just over throughout my career. I just always knew what this place was going to be. So I've always held this place in really high esteem. So whether it's real or imagined in my own head, it's always been that place. So I guess the Valley has been activated, but this has always been a focal point in the Phoenix area in terms of how people, how good we're doing in football and how successful we are. It's because I've always had just kind of my eyes on how well ASU's always been doing myself. So, maybe, and again, I'm not one of those guys that really pays attention to all that. Maybe because it's a figment of my own imagination, but this has always been a big time place. And this has always been a place that should be able to compete against anybody. And this has always been a place that's going to be a focal point. And maybe I'm delusional, but I like living in that disillusion.
Well, I'm okay. Then you and I are the same there. I'm 100% with you on that. But yeah, it's always, because, for years, especially football wise, people were like, man, that's just a sleeping giant out there, like awaken a sleeping giant. And I was just like, no, you don't have to awaken it. It is awake. You need to come
Yeah,
out here and see it. But yeah,
exactly.
and again, get
Exactly.
defensive, for your school. But so, oh, by the way, because this past Saturday, I always have a little, the first Saturday of December would have been the Valley of the Sun Bowl, and I know you've seen me with this, but Coach Kersing was kind enough to give this to me, the 20th anniversary this year of the 2005 national champs, the Glendale Gauchos, and I know you coached on the obviously the 2000 team, but
Yeah.
man, I gotta think just like what. I mean, like you said, good times, tough times, and it's challenging because I mean recruiting at the JUCO level, even tougher, and the turnover. What? Let me get you out here on this. What strengths do you think that coaches that have coached at the junior, not that other coaches at other levels don't have it, but what strengths do you think maybe more come to light or that develop in coaches that coached that coach at the JUCO level, just understanding the daily challenges and the yearly challenges of it.
That's a great question. It's been so long since I coached, what I mean, at that level. I do know, I think the thing that you learn at that level, probably more so maybe than at other places, and maybe what kind of separates, I'd say, guys that coach at this level that have a junior college experience is a better appreciation for all the other stuff. Like, I mean, just everything from the meals to the training room to the amount of people involved in the program for the benefit of the student athletes, the top of the line gear, the top of the line preparation and things to get your players prepared, because in the junior college level, it really came down to just the love of the game and the love of each other. And I just always like to say that the junior college level was really the game in its purest form, because the only benefit that you really were able to get from it as a coach was coaching, and bringing guys together. There was no other benefit. The money, the attention, the media, the outside influence, everybody knowing everything that's going on, and all those other things that come with being a Power Four Division I coach, are really those things. You were dealing with kids from every walk of life, and kids paying their own way to go to school, kids paying their own apartment bills and their electricity bills and their utility bills, and trying to find their next meal, and but would still show up with great attitudes and just be excited to just play the game of football. And um, so I mean, that if you don't love I mean, that at those levels, it really shows your love of the game and the love of everything that comes with the game, the brotherhood, the opportunity to play, the opportunity to just be around other people, and it didn't matter your um, your creed, your culture, your background, the environment you grew up in, the family background. Nothing mattered. It's just everything that mattered was the game. So you really learned to develop the love of the game, and that's I really always said that junior college ball is really the game in its purest form.
Yeah, no, I mean, and when you said media, I get a little chuckle there, Coach, because I mean, when I was covering the JUCOs, which again I loved, I would show up and I'm like, man, I got carte blanche, man. I don't have to battle anybody. I don't have to battle too many people. I mean, there were some there. Again, I was, but when I was doing stuff daily on a daily basis, like it was, like I said, it was. You see a lot of that, and I kind of fit too because you're talking about obviously sacrifice and that, and obviously being the defensive coordinator. You mentioned your defensive players, and I just love too because even goes back to last spring when the players were all of them were out for the kids run, for Pat's run. And I know you
Yeah.
and I have talked about it before, but what Pat Tillman meant and sacrifice. But for the players to come out and just walk past that statue every game and just like the memory obviously and the tradition lives on. What is that? What do you feel it means to them, and what does it mean to you?
It's funny every time someone asks me about Pat Tillman, I I look back at the one interaction. I had a couple interactions, I guess, with him when he was a player here because I had a couple good friends on that same team, and I had one in locker just right next to him. Hamilton, me, he was number 46, and obviously Pat was 42, and then I think Darby Snell, who I was a teammate with, was 40. I think he was 43, and who I was a teammate with of his at Phoenix College, and I just remember going out and watching those guys run around on the field and watching him run around, the presence that he had. And so, like it's a little more, it's not ultra personal, but it is a little more personal to me because I remember when he walked around here as a student athlete and he ran around with a lot of the same guys that I was friends with. So, I mean, it's, I don't know, I get a little nostalgic. And then, when you get a chance to meet his family, and I've met his mother and I've met his brothers, and yeah, it's just it's almost it's almost spiritual. You know what I mean? Just I'm not gonna lie. It's just you have that his spirit kind of here, and just if I remember being told about him for the first time by Hamilton Me. He was a starting defensive end, and ASU fans probably remember he had the scoop and score when Washington State had went to the Rose Bowl that year. They were only packed. I think they're only Pac-10 lost that year, and it was Ryan Leaf who fumbled the ball, and Hamilton picked it up. And Hamilton's still one of my good friends to this day. I remember him telling me a story about Pat in the locker room against Washington, and just it brings chills, and how after they lost the game, Pat got up in front of the whole team and confronted one of the star players, and it was Pat's team, his senior year. So just yeah, so there's stories, and I'm sure there's a lot more stories that I probably just slip in my mind right now, but just being a part of it, you're part of tradition here, and you're part of a defensive tradition too, here in Arizona State.
Yeah, and it's funny because you said I had Juan Roque on before the Arizona game, and he told a funny story about Pat up at Camp T. Long story short, like he'd never seen a javelina before, and he thought it was, it's like, but then it started. He saw, I guess it was the two little ones, so two kids, and he's going towards it. Well, the mom was far away, but she started getting closer, and Pat ran into the seniors' room because he never saw a javelina before. He's like, this pig just attacked me. And the way, but the way you're sharing that too, like Pat getting up, but it's just having, again, if people met him, people that knew him, but when Juan told that story, he had the same kind of look, like it just happened yesterday. But yeah, he had never seen a javelina, but he chucked away. He ran away from it pretty quick. He said it almost caught him.
That's hilarious. That's great.
Hey, you see the best up at Camp T. But hey, Coach, again, sorry about the speed bump in the beginning. I always appreciate your awesome time. So thank you again so much for joining us here, and I'll see you out at practices. Get prepped for Duke in the Sun Bowl.
Sounds good, Mike. Sure appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
There he is, Brian Ward, defensive coordinator of the Sun Devils, and again, just X's and O's. It's always great to, again, seeing him coach on the field, being lucky enough to cover it. Oh, my bad, William. I just saw that. William, I will ask Coach Ward that out at practice. I will say, young man had a question. What did you consistently call coverages where the DBs line up behind the first down, especially on third downs? Okay, well, William, my thing would be, and that's drove me crazy when you see it on TV, but I just think that it's to get depth and protect the line. But yes, when they see the line, if the depth, like cut it off, you better be able to come up and make the tackle, if it's a quick slant. And I get what you're saying, but I will ask him that, William. So, yes, thank you. I'm sorry, my bad. I saw it pop up just as we were signing off. So I would have asked him. But I'll ask him out at practice as I get ready for the Sun Bowl. But I will find that out for you, William. And again, it is I know it drives people. Even when I was playing and line up this far back, I'm like, the first down's here. I'd rather have him, try and throw through me, get an OPI. William, well, in college they may have called a little more, but in the NFL, calling OPI, it's got to be very, very, very blatant. Unless it's the Cowboys Lions where it's not blatant. But anyway, that's a side story. My cousin sent me that. Anyway. But yeah, great question, William. Actually, I'll put it up for you guys. See, he said, why do DCs? I don't know if so much it's that they're calling it. It's that they're lineup. So, but again, I will ask him for you out at practice. As again, they get ready to go to El Paso New Year's Eve as they take on Duke. Oh, man. Well, so you're a Broncos fan, huh, William? I like that. Well, hey, every defensive coordinator has a thing. But the one thing I will say, William, is, again, not just because, he's a friend of the show on the show. It's an ASU show. Yeah, it wasn't all rainbows when it was 3-9. I mean, there was, when they started getting, injuries were more so on offense, but defensively, they were on the field a lot, but, they were banged up. They weren't able to get done. Yeah, I know the Broncos defense has been, pretty sick this year. And I'm not like a Broncos hater. I'm not, they're not my team per se, but yeah, no, I'm with you on the DBs there, William. I will say, because even sometimes you'll see it here, but again, because these receivers are so fast too. So again, if a DB, especially at this level, and I know tackling, that's a whole nother subject. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole, William. But you'd rather, because the second he starts running, they're not full speed backup, but they're backing up and a little bit behind it. But then to come up and make the tackle. But yes, sometimes it is frustrating when you see them lined up back and then they don't come up and make the tackle, or maybe somebody who's supposed to be out there. Again, there's a few things, but look, the way he calls defense, the way he, his players play, and their secondary just in general this year, I know banged up, but Boogie Wilson came in. Oh, for asking about Tommy Romano. Boogie Wilson came in, did a good job. Then he gets banged up. And that last game against Arizona, and he talked about it in the sound I played from practice the other day. Tommy Romano, came in, had 9.5 tackles. And, he's getting reps in practice, but not a lot. And, team wise, individual, there's, you're working on stuff, but he came in 9 tackles. It was old hat. So, I do like this, William. I do like this. So, we'll see. Yeah, disguise those blitzes. But, we had Keith Abney on last Friday, and he did have the 1 sack this year. The corner blitz, he did have 1 sack. I think he had 1 last year, maybe 2 last year. I'd have to go back and look. Anyway, but I know he at least had 1 last year as well, too. So, anyway, but, I love having Brian Ward on. Again, just as a defensive coordinator and, like I said, what he's done. And, man, again, getting to work with his kids. His daughter's going to Rome, man. Dad's got to prep for the bowl game. No, but that's awesome, man. Good for her. Newman Center obviously doing great things on campuses in general for a very long time here at the phenomenal University, Arizona State. So forks up to that. But hey, we're going to step aside real quick. When we get back, we're going to shift gears. We are going to celebrate the volleyball team as, yes, I know. Like I said to Coach Ward, man, it was tough. Sweet 16, Creighton. Hey, Creighton's a good team, and ASU is a very good team too. Yeah, we'll wrap up volleyball. Wrap up a little bit more what Coach Ward said. If you missed it, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. Give that to you on the other side. But we'll take a quick break and have more Pitchfork Lunch right after this. Well, that's just one of the points. Again, I have a ton, but one of the points from the phenomenal Sun Devils season, man. Forks up to the Devils. They were in the Sweet 16. They made it to the Sweet 16. They hosted the first two here. Dominated Coppin State. Beat Utah State in 4. Had control of that match, and then went to Kentucky. Obviously, the Lexington Regionals. Kentucky's the number 1 seed, which I still think the number 1 seed should have been here in Tempe. But again, nonetheless, either way, Creighton, again, a very good team, and ASU falls in 4 to end their just amazing electric season. I mean, this team, absolutely electric, guys. We talked to Bailey Miller. We talked to Colby and Jillian Neal. We also, Ella Lamagora, of course, in the middle. Yeah, got to talk to her, Coach Van Neal. And again, still want to talk to more, so we'll effort that, even though I know it's just fresh, their season is done, but just phenomenal Sun Devils. All of them. And I mean, yeah, both teams are dropping aces, a lot of aces yesterday. And I mean, the first set went extras, they were both back and forth. It was tight. It was 26-24 Creighton. And I always say, when you win those, yeah, it is short-term memory. ASU did take the second set, though, 25-19, were in control. And then the third set was a little tough as Creighton took that, I want to say, 25-15. But, yeah, I mean, just what a phenomenal season. And you look at, seasons that Coach Van Neal's put together. But, yes, each team is its individual person, as you guys know. But, I mean, man, just – they're on another 10-game win streak. I mean, that came to an end. And the sad thing is if they were playing next, I'm sure they'd rip off at least 5 to 7 more. Um, but yeah, I mean, the players that Coach Van Neal, I should say, talked about, for Creighton. I mean, Ava Martin talked about her 23 kills for Martin. Big day. Kiera Reinhardt had 15. Jaya Johnson had 12. So, you got three in double figures there for ASU, though. Noemi Glover, I mean, 17 kills, and she dropped bombs. I mean, she did hit 517, which is insane. Bailey Miller had 9. Kaya Presley, again, she looked good in her rotations. We've talked about it here, but them playing the Devils playing the 6-2. Kaya Presley had 9 kills as well. And then Tatum Parrott had 7. Colby Neal was 6. Lama Gora had 1. So did Faith Frame. I love when the libero gets credit for the kill. But yeah, I mean, wow, what let's see. Service ace wise, Bryn Covell dropped 2, and she dropped those back to back. So again, she had a hell of a season. Sydney Henry had 1, as did Jillian Neal, also had 1. For Creighton, yeah, they had 8 to ASU's 3. But yeah, Sydney Bressinger had 3, and then Analia Mater, Ava Martin, Jaya Johnson, Nora Wirtz, and Abby Hayes all had 1. So again, 8 points. It's basically a third of a set that you're winning there. But yeah, for the Devils, I mean, just the year, like I said, that I mean, Noemi Glover up for national player of the year, which again is no surprise. Finalist, and I mean, her and Bailey Miller and Colby Neal being all first team Big 12, not a surprise there. And also in the Southwest region, first team honors. God, just such a fun, awesome team to watch, guys. I mean, they were, yeah, Williams set 3 was rough. They went away from, yeah, I mean, look, and at times this year, like, and coaches talked about that. I mean, as a volleyball coach, think about it, William. It's one of those 6 and 1/2 dozen to the other, because if they are concentrating on Glover, but they're also saying, okay, even if she gets some, we can't let the middles get going, because we've seen what Lama Gora and obviously Colby Neal could do. I 100% agree with you. And look, the fact that they were number 7 in the the rankings, I still think they should have been the highest ranked number 2 seed, which would have put them. And again, I'm not saying they win, but I'm saying it would have put them in the Pitt bracket, which they lost to Pitt. I would have liked to have seen that rematch. So, and I'm not saying that they don't fall again to Pitt. If they, I think they were the best of the number 2 seeds. But I agree with you. I think that JJ definitely will have this team in the top 10 to 15 every year. And I mean, I even shy away from 15, William. I'm saying shy away because a top 10 team. I mean, what they have on the bench, and he calls them the game changers. And again, what they've been able to, wants to build with freshmen. And yeah, you're going to have to hit some in the portal. We all everybody understands that. But I mean, you think, and looking at it too, by the way, I do want to say, because you look at the roster, and obviously Colby Neal, is grad, and Noemi Glover is going to be gone as well, as is Bailey Miller. Again, the growth Bailey Miller had, and when she was on the show, when Coach Van Neal was on the show talking about it, like the growth Bailey Miller had, like that. She, improved, and after when they went to Brazil, she played maybe some of the summer, but anyway, Coach Van Neal said she played all the summer. I mean, her vertical increased by, what they say, like 4 inches, 4 to 5 inches. That's phenomenal, obviously. But it is one of those things where, I mean, you look at the roster, like And although we didn't see a ton of Bella Faria, but I mean, she's a sophomore. Again, I don't know anything. Yes, you guys know I've covered teaming around it. And, nobody's talking transfer portal or anything. But I'm saying coming back, you'd have, well, okay, so Estella Zateca is a senior. Let's go with would be gone. Tatum Parrott, transferred here from GCU. Again, phenomenal year. Greenway High School kid. Again, covered her since high school. Ella Lewis. Oh no, she's not gone. Sorry. Sydney Henry might be back. It depends on the whole you can play 5 years to ruling things. So I don't. Sydney Henry might be back, but okay, say she is gone too as well as a senior, and then you'd have, like I said, Colby Neal. Oh, wait, Noemi Glover is a junior, and Colby Neal got drafted too, so which is phenomenal. Oh, I got it. I have to clarify that. I'm not going to say she's going to be gone. For some reason, I thought they honored her at senior day, but let me see if oh no, Glover's a junior. Wow. Well, wow, kids. So there, that answers that. So Glover, who junior again. I'm not saying. See, I'm not putting it out there, guys. You know me. You watch Pitchfork Lunch. It's not all rainbows and unicorns, and I also don't do clickbait. But I do think that Glover will be back next year, so she could definitely be back, which is awesome, beyond awesome, as we know. And then so yeah, so Colby Neal obviously was a grad student. Well, Kyla Presley will be back, so who were this? Stella Sateca, Tatum Parrott, um, Colby Neal. Who else was in that? Man, that's crazy to me now because now I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so Stella Zateca, Colby Neal. Oh, Bryn Covell. I guess she's graduating very early because she is I mean, she's a redshirt sophomore, which again would make you a junior. Um, so Bryn Tatum. Oh, Bailey Miller. I'm an idiot. Bailey Miller and Sydney Henry again was on it too. So Sydney Henry, Bailey Miller, Tatum Parrott, Bryn Covell, Jillian Neal, or sorry, Colby Neal, older sister, and Estella Zateca, which was there. So again, Bailey Miller though, what she did this year, guys, I mean, just absolutely. Well, I mean, I can tell you, I mean, stat wise, it's crazy because when we look at kills, she was second on the team in kills. Oh, one more match. She would have hit the magic 400 number two. She played in every set this year, though, all 6 rotations, and again, just had a hell of a season. But she finished the year with 392 kills, second to who? Noemi Glover's 423. Which she played in exactly 100 sets this season. Again, she did have to miss some, but she was able to get through that and got through it very, very solidly and strong, Sun Devil Nation, because just a treat to watch her play and just, man, crushing it. But yeah, so she had 423 kills, Glover. Bailey Miller, 392. Tatum Parrott, 224. Colby Neal, 167. Kyla Presley, 165. Ella Magora, 133. So, yeah, like you see it, like it's but yeah, with Miller gone, Parrott gone, and Colby Neal gone, it's a lot of kills that that are having to be filled. But like I said, and then I want to go with obviously aces, because Bailey Miller was the champ. 39 this year for her, 28 for Covell, who actually added to that's a few more than she had last year. I think she had 24, 25 last year, but still 28 for Bryn Covell. Phenomenal season. Sydney Henry had a 24. Tatum Parrott dropped 18. And Jillian Neal and Ella Lewis both dropped 17. Colby Neal dropped 16. Like, that's just, again, they finished with 167 for the season, which, guys, 167 aces. So that's two matches that are sweeps, and the first 17 points of the next set into the next match that they pointed. So 167. I mean, let's see, what was last year? And again, they had a ton. I think it was more than 167, but yeah, Jillian Neal had 36 last year, led the team. Jelly Sear had the 29, Argentina Ung 27. Yeah, Bryn Covell had 24, so she had 4 more this year than she did last year. So again, Mary Stroll had 24, Claire Jeter had 22, Bella Faria had 7 last year. But yeah, they had 186 last year, so they had 19 more aces last year. But still, you're in that neighborhood, and that is very, very badass, to say the least. So, but yeah, the passion this team play with, and I mean, you look at Faith Frame Libero and Jillian Neal becoming a Swiss Army knife. Yeah, that. Yes. Yeah. Glover Presley. Plus, they have um, and like I said, there is a chance, but it just depends. William, because William put this in there, and yeah, losing and Tatum Parrott again. The way, accepting her again. Not that she didn't have opportunities, but I mean, she was fed at Grand Canyon. They were going to her, and then you can understand why. But yeah, I mean, she just fit in so well. I mean, there are so many times that she would get the kill and go back and drop an ace. She did that quite a few times this year. But yeah, Colby Neal for the 1 year is absolutely awesome. I mean, Jillian will be back next year. And I mean, the Swiss Army knife, and you saw it, William. I mean, and I talked to Coach about that, talked to Jillian. I mean, putting a libero on, and we all kidded around like that's got to be the tallest libero that we have ever seen, a 6'2" libero. Like, I'm not saying right, wrong, or indifferent, however you look at it, guys. It's not any one of the three, but mostly liberos are not going to be 6'2" because you're going to be up at the neck crushing it. But yeah, losing and Bailey, like I said, her growth. I hope she gets to take. And we had her on talking about the signs out front of Mountain America Stadium, and she's got hers. So I hope she gets I mean, again, I don't think it wouldn't be vain. It'd be pretty badass. She's like, I didn't even know about that. I walk up and we're like, whoa. So absolutely awesome. But yeah, that will be a huge challenge. But they did bring William, and give me 1 second, William. I will tell you quickly before we wrap and mention. Before we transition to hockey and then wrap, because they are playing the UMD Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs tonight. Yes, they did get in the recruiting. Thank you. I was going to say they landed a setter from, and again, if Cindy Henry and both Bryn Covell are gone, because Bryn Covell is going to be gone. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see who's who, because. And there's a French player, by the way, real quick too. She is I want to say it's Mava Schalk, who's a 6'2" freshman from Caen, France, who was banged up this year and recovered, and we did not see her. So, William, that's going to be like adding another like almost getting a new recruit in. But yeah, she's with the team, and that is absolutely awesome. But yeah, the four that signed, Ella Hope is a 6'3" middle blocker from Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. They also signed Paige Lehman, a 5'9" libero, which again with Faith Frame back, which is again awesome. Can't have enough. Um, she's out of Winter Park High School, and then Grace Martin, a 5'11" outside hitter from Overland Park, Kansas, which is St. Thomas Aquinas, and then a 5'11" setter as well from Orlando that I was telling you about. William is Ella Matola. She's two-time AAU first-team All-American, AAU Under-17 national champion in 2025, U.S. AV 17U Open first-team All-American in 2025. Yeah, she's accomplished a lot. But yeah, so I mean, you got a 5'11" setter coming in, which again, losing both your setters, that's tough. And then Grace Martin coming in, Paige Lehman, the 5'9" libero. Like I see a 5'9" libero, not a 6'2" libero, and then a 6'3" middle blocker, Ella Hope. So that is who they have coming in, and getting Mava back too as well. So that is again absolutely awesome. So, but hey man, forks out to their phenomenal season again, and the game changers are going to be back, ladies. You absolutely rocked it. Sweet 16, and yeah, I mean, I look forward to pushing, knocking down that door. Yes, the season just ended, and there's other stuff to go on, but yes, knocking down that door, getting to the Elite Eight, next year, coming back, striving, like Coach said, for a number one seed. Well, it's funny you say that, William, because that is one position that Jillian actually has played outside, but she has not played middle. She didn't play middle this season, but she hasn't been middle. But we'll see, because you have, again, one of those two is going to rotate out, and if you're going to keep her on the floor for 3 rotations, I mean, you want Jillian serve. So, and again, coach can work out all those X's and O's, but saying that, to your point, William, there is no way that I don't think she couldn't handle it, because I mean, the Swiss Army knife, she goes outside, she puts on the libero jersey, then she takes it off, then she's serving, and then she's playing a few rotations, getting outside, is just, again, showing the depth of her game. Her personality fits it great. And yeah, it's just awesome that she got to play this year with her sister. More phenomenal if they could have brought home the national title. Obviously, I know they wanted to, but yeah, just so stoked for this, again, program, Coach Van Niel, the electricity they brought to campus, a 942 crew showing out for them. So that is absolutely awesome. But yes, it looks, and we'll see. And getting, like I said, Mava back, who's, it's about the weapons. It's about the weapons and, the quality of. So, yeah, absolutely awesome. And we'll see what Coach adds, if he does add, but chances are adds through the portal. But yes, hockey. We do have to get to hockey, my friends, because guess what? They play University of Minnesota Duluth tonight, NCHC. And you can see that game at, I will tell you the right time, because since it's not here, I want to be correct on the right time. It is at 6:07 p.m. It will start at 6:07 p.m. at Am Soil Arena in Minnesota, on the campus of Minnesota Duluth, and you can watch it on nchc.tv. Well, both games. So today and then Saturday, tomorrow, they play at 4:07 p.m. Local time here. I'm not saying, so 6:07 tonight here, and then 4:07 tomorrow, Saturday, taking on the number 5 team in the nation, because the number 3, 4, and 5 team in the nation are all from the NCHC. So that, my friends, always awesome. And I will just give you the standings real quick. Yeah, so ASU is in fifth right now. Oh no, fifth. Yeah, it was Denver, North Dakota, who again they split with both. Minnesota, Duluth, who they're playing, Western Michigan, who they haven't played yet, and then ASU. They are 3-4-1 in conference, 7-8-1 overall. You guys know it, but sweeping Ohio State. Always nice to smack Ohio State around, right? We can agree on that. And the Devil, I mean, these last few weeks, I know I mentioned Colin Potter and Cruz Lucius. I mean, but what they've done, these lines and coach again, just kind of tweaking, mixing them up. He is. Look, people say, oh, like it's a mad chemist thing. No, but he is a phenomenal. Obviously, you got to have a feel for your team. Guys got to mesh together on the line, but. I mean, moving Potter in the Ohio State series with on the line, same line with Cruz. Again, absolutely awesome. Big fan of that because yeah, I mean, and you look at, like I said, goal scored at ASU, seventh right now with 46. But again, they're coming out. I don't think they're easy to come by either. Come on, this conference, as you know, is insane. Penalty killing and the huge thing, and people can say, yeah, you're thanks, Captain Obvious. Special teams are always a yeah. So I mean, they're always important, but Minnesota Duluth is number one in penalty kill and number one in converting power plays. So you want to get them on the penalty. You want to have a man advantage against them to overstate the obvious, right? But you don't want to obviously have to try and defend it. So they're crushing it on both ends. Minnesota Duluth. Actually, they have Dartmouth, who I don't think is in the top five because their schedule, William, they play Minnesota Duluth, and then they have 2 weeks off. They only have 14 days between their games, and they're at Dartmouth. Apologies to the very smart people that went there. Didn't mean to mispronounce it. But yeah, so they have Minnesota Duluth on the 12th and 13th, obviously today and tomorrow, and then 27th and 28th, they're at Dartmouth, and then they come home after the New Year. That's when they'll be home again, William, is for the Desert Hockey Classic, which they've hosted every year. So it'll be Air Force, Michigan Tech, ASU, and Alaska Anchorage, who they have played. And so that's January 2nd. That starts at 3 o'clock. Air Force and Michigan Tech will play, and then ASU will play Alaska Anchorage at 7 p.m. And then on January 3rd, Alaska Anchorage will take on either Michigan Tech or Air Force, and ASU will take on either Air Force or Michigan Tech, obviously. So winner plays winner. Whoever loses plays the other losing team. And that is that. So, yeah, they don't have Dartmouth, but then they go back with Miami of Ohio. And then they'll put the rankings up after because those are far out. But, yeah, then they go Miami of Ohio here, North Dakota here. And then they're at Colorado College, and then St. Cloud State will be here, and then they're at Western Michigan late, and then Omaha comes here, and then they go play Denver up there to close out the regular season. So that's always fun getting to close out with Denver. But hey, that's the NCHC. Coach Powers is not intimidated by it, or his team's not going to be intimidated by it. He's not. You play and you just do. You will have that. So Yeah, but Dartmouth is a really good team. Actually, you know what? Let me see something. Hold on. I want to see again. Let's see. Oh, Dartmouth is actually number 8, so not top 5. But there you go, William. Hell of a call. Number 2 top 10 teams. So Dartmouth, and they actually received one first place vote, and I'm sure it was from their region writer. But no, nonetheless, they are 10-0. So yeah, that is going to be tough. So it is. Yeah, so then Minnesota, Duluth, and then again 2 weeks though, so they get bye week and you get right, and then right after Christmas, 27th, 28th, and then they get to they'll be come back from Dartmouth, spend New Year's here, and January 2nd start up the new year of the season. So yeah, they on their rankings, Dartmouth 10-0-0. So yeah. But I'll get to their schedule when we get closer. But yeah, for look, Colin Potter, this young man, I mean, I love coach's statement about him being making Calgary look very smart. And you can pound the drum for your players, or of course you're going to pound the table for your players, but his play does that itself. So that being said, but yeah, tonight they will be 607, guys. 607 ncact.tv. And you can get all of it and watch. And hey, let's go beat number 5, baby. Let's rock number 5 on their home ice. But it's gonna be physical. It's gonna be fun. And let me see something real quick. Minnesota Duluth, yes. They Max. Plant. He is leading the NCAC with 14 goals, and then Cruz Lucius, he has 10. He is 4th. And let's see, Minnesota Duluth has Scout Truman, who has 8 goals and is 9th. So yeah, but Cruz Lucius, he's been on a heater too. So just wanted to get that out there. And it will be, again, always fun games against those. So, oh, yes, and Ty Murchison. William, you had to bring this up, didn't you? I brought it up yesterday. So I mentioned it quickly yesterday because I love Ty Murchison. It was always great to sit down and talk to him. But, dude, the Flyers, the Flyers, William. I can't. Yes, I'm a New Jersey Devils fan, being from Jersey, and more Devils. Stick with the Devils. But yeah, there's nothing about the Flyers except for Ty Murchison, who I want to be amazing and be awesome. I just don't like his team. I know I sound like a 5-year-old, right, William? Well, on that note, but again, forks up to Ty Murchison, like I said yesterday. Forks up, getting there. Forks up, Brian Ward. Thank you again, Sun Devil defensive coordinator, for jumping in. Again, friend of the program, always gracious with his time. Sorry about the speed bump in the beginning, guys, but we got it all figured out. So again, greatly appreciated that. Again, the 20-year anniversary of Coach Kirsting's 2005. There you go, Glendale Gauchos, national champs. This Valley of the Sun Bowl would have been played this past Saturday. So, but prayers to Coach Kirsting too, guys. Send good vibes and prayers to Coach Kirsting. Again, feeling good, but just had to, do some stuff. So positive vibes to Coach Kirsting as well. But again, forks up to Brian Ward for jumping on, Sun Devil defensive coordinator, who, again, awesome. And forks up to JJ Van Neal, again, 3-time coach of the year, back-to-back years. Last year of the Pac-12, first 2 years of the Big 12, where they are Big 12 regular season champs, outright, not even close. It's over. Close the book on that. Of being Big 12 champs, because good luck teams trying to chase them down next year. And yes, forks up to volleyball again. These women, phenomenal job. again, Colby Neal drafted, Bailey Miller moving on. We'll see what she does. I think she could definitely keep playing too. She was second on the team in digs. So second in kills, first in aces, second in digs. Yeah. Again, just that spirit and that she played with. I mean, the bench, the whole team. I mean, oh my God, Noemi Glover, like coming here and what she accomplished. I mean, baseball player of the year. So Forks up to volleyball, man. It is a hell of a season, a great season, and just like for Coach Van Neal to keep pushing it forward, and it's a phenomenal staff as well. So Forks up to volleyball, hockey. Let's go get them. You guys have a phenomenal week. Forks up to all of you. Hit me up. You guys, you can see right there at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as the Twitter, in which you can see the show live there every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. Also, you can go to the wonderful world of the IG, as the kids call it, and you can just go to michael.carrotenuto.5. So just, you see add a dot between my first and last name, and then add a dot in after my last name and put a 5. So you can follow me, hit me up there as well. But the YouTube channel, guys, go to YouTube. You know how to get to YouTube. You see my name, Michael Carrotenuto, but my page, if you want to get my page, just go to M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ 005 at MVC005 on YouTube, guys, and subscribe. Because again, if you missed Brian Ward, if you missed Ella Lamagora last week and Keith Abney last week, you get what I'm saying. So you've missed a plethora of phenomenal con reviews. So subscribe to the channel. Again, Forks up to the new subscribers as well. I greatly appreciate you. You guys have a phenomenal weekend. We'll see what I was going to say. Volleyball. They're still playing in my hearts, man. They rock. We'll see how hockey does, and football. Obviously, prep for the Sun Bowl. So I will see you Monday, same bad time, same bad channel. Have a phenomenal weekend, and it is #OurState. Thanks to back-to-back reigning Big 12 champs, women's volleyball, for just reminding me that I should know that last season and to keep it going. So it is #OurState, team down south. And you guys know it. Go Devils. And as always, Forks up.
I went to Arizona State. Right. I'm a Sun Devil, man.
27-yard line. That's a great call. Play fake. Farmer will put it up. Throws over the middle. Pull. Touchdown. Red flag. 3rd down and 5. 11 swings it to Scadaboo. Scadaboo breaks defenders. Here he goes again. Scadaboo is the running back, and he is immediately met in the backfield, runs through the contact, and then throws a shoulder for good measure. This team this year. That is true. High in the air. Right center field. Brandon Compton. Welcome to 2025. Today. This one the other way. Still going back. Gets the track. Walks up and down. Edwards pulls off and buries it. Richardson drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her 3 right on the money.
Takes his shot for Darby. Flag out. Doesn't matter.